happy Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, in the flesh as always, and this man needs no introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his tag team partner, none other than Jonathan Randall, the adventurer himself. And it's been a while, Kurt. I've been gone for a while. We've been both been gone for a while. I've just had a little an eventful month of April. Now we're in May, and we're back. We need to do our prediction show for our upcoming Backlash event. So here we are.
Yes, we will do those predictions a little later, but I just wanted to say, man, damn, you lived a crazy life in the last 30 days. Holy shit.
I know. I know pretty much from from the beginning of the month till the end, going to WrestleMania, the first week of April and kind of laid a little bit low, coming back, and then towards the end of April was with my girlfriend celebrating our 1 year anniversary. Went to a wedding, went to a Laker game, playoff game, may I add, and then very eventful, and I had a great time.
Good shit, man. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, and I know you're enjoying the NBA playoffs and also the NHL playoffs. So it's a fun
Yes,
time.
yes, I
It's a
am.
fun time to be John Randall, isn't it?
This is honestly has to be my favorite time of the year. Is like the springtime, because it's WrestleMania, and then you have the playoffs going on, and so yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same thing because I have WrestleMania, my birthday,
Hmm.
NBA playoffs. The
Yeah,
weather starts to switch up and
yeah,
whatnot. Yeah, it is a nice time of year.
it
Also,
is.
March Madness to a
Oh
degree.
yeah, and I'm not really in the March Madness though, but it was kind of cool to see San Diego stay in the Final Four, even though they didn't win. But it was kind of cool to see them, make it that far though. But yeah, it is a
Crazy. My old college FAU went to the Final Four.
oh oh yeah,
Florida
yeah,
Atlantic
yeah, yeah.
University. My first stint in college before I initially dropped out, that was the first college I went to. I went there for
Holy
2 years.
crap! Where is that school at?
It's in Boca Raton, Florida. It's a little bit south of Palm Beach.
Okay. Hmm. I did not know that.
Yeah, I went there for 2 years. Yeah, the Florida FAU Owls, they were called the Owls.
Oh yeah, right, right, right.
Yeah, but I'll say this: I enjoyed my stint in UNLV a lot more. I will admit that.
That's good.
But yes, let's get into the news that dropped in WWE over the last week or so. We did have the draft this past Friday and also Monday on SmackDown and Raw. But before that, last week on Raw in Chicago, Triple H introduced a new championship belt since Roman has both titles and is never on Raw that often. Triple H
Right.
introduced a brand new belt, and the new champion for that belt will be decided on May 27th at Night of Champions.
And yeah, this is pretty much the surprise that we've been waiting for because we've been hearing a rumor about a new belt was going to come into the company. We didn't know what it was, or apparently Triple H resurrected, brought back the World Heavyweight Championship belt. But a new twist to the belt. It's a different design. It's still like the same shape, but if you look closely at the details, it's different details than the original. They have the big WWE logo in the middle now. But yeah, it is the World Heavyweight Championship belt. And by looking at it and giving thought to it, and also hearing from others all over, over the media, it's a bit more than, I don't know, about 70-30. It's a bit majority, likes it. And there's some that's kind of like, eh, you know what I mean? Because everybody's making a big deal about the big logo in the middle. But then again, if you're an avid wrestling fan like ourselves, Kurt, you would know that majority of the world championship from different wrestling promotions, they have their company's logo in the center. You look at AEW's world championship belt, the logo's in the center. Hell, even the UFC belts, they have their corporate logo in the middle of the belt. So what do you think about it?
I like it. I don't mind it. It's not my favorite design ever, but it's a nice looking belt. I have no problem with it.
I like it better than the current WWE title belt if I had to choose. I would say this. I would say this. I like the if you look closely at the belt, Kurt, I like the actual details to the belt. You look closely to the belt, Kurt. There's two lions, one on each side. There's a crown at the, I think, believe at the top. I like the designs too. It's different. So
Look, it's a nice looking belt, but the thing is, this whole thing could have just been avoided and would have been just so much simpler if they just had Cody win at WrestleMania. Have Cody win at
and
WrestleMania and have him forfeit one of the titles, probably the Universal title at that, and you could just do an updated design of that, and perfect.
I was thinking the same thing, but when we talk about the draft, I will talk about more about Cody in the meantime. Like, cause trust me, I have a lot to say about that.
Let's be real. Let's be honest. The belt's nice looking and everything, but this belt more than anything else is a consolation prize.
What do you mean?
It feels like whoever gets that belt, it's kind of like the, oh, I couldn't beat Roman, so I got this as a prize instead.
Yeah, and don't worry, we're gonna you want to go ahead and talk about the draft.
Yeah, I'll get into that in a second, but yeah, it's a nice looking belt and all, like I said before, but they could have just avoided this whole scenario if they just had Cody win at WrestleMania. But it is what it is. And I'm also hearing rumors now that they might not even do the rematch between Roman and Cody until WrestleMania next year.
This is exactly what I'm about to get into relating to the draft because I have a lot to say about that. A
Okay,
lot.
okay, so like in
What
any event,
happened in the draft pretty much told me everything what I need to know now moving forward. So let's get at it.
all right, so yes, we did have the draft this past Friday on SmackDown and also this past Monday on Raw. And here are the results. On Monday Night Raw, we will have Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch, Gunther, Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Shinsuke Nakamura, who made his very first appearance on Raw ever this past Monday. Weird as that sounds.
Hmm. Wow.
Indy Hartwell, Eric, Ivar, Valhalla, Dexter Loomis, Candice LeRae, Mace Mansoor, Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Apollo Cruz coming up from NXT, Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green, Zoe Stark coming up from NXT as well, JD McDonough, Rhea Ripley, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, Trish Stratus, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Ricochet, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, Chad Gable, Otis, Katanya Chance, and Caden Carter,
Okay.
also from NXT.
Right. So, in my opinion, I think the steal of the draft for Raw was Gunther. That was a steal of the night of the draft for Raw.
And also, Raw and SmackDown will be switching ring announcers. And
Really?
Samantha Irvin will now be a part of Raw, obviously, since Ricochet got drafted there. So, also, who's going to announce Gunther better than her?
Right. But that was the
Yeah,
steal of
she
the
kills
draft right
that
there.
shit.
You get the Intercontinental Championship back on Raw. It feels like it's 2002 all over again, Kurt.
Yeah, before they discontinued it.
Yeah, but yeah, I not only do you get the Intercontinental title on your flagship show, but you get Gunther. That was a steal, big steal right there.
But let's get into SmackDown real fast. I'm going to give my thoughts
Yeah.
after we get into SmackDown.
Okay.
So for SmackDown, we have Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa, who are all chosen together. Not a
Right.
surprise.
Mm.
Bianca Belair, they switched the women's champions to do two separate shows.
I hate it when they do that.
I'll get into my thoughts on that in a few minutes. So yeah, they're switching the champions for the women for both sides. We also have Montez Ford and Angela Dawkins. I guess they're not breaking up for now.
Mm.
Edge, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, who just came back this past Friday and who's now cleared,
Hey, yes.
along with Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and
Mm-hmm.
Michin. Also, Bailey, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. So Damage Control staying together for now. Also, Isla Dawn, Top Dollar, Ashanti the Adonis, B Fab, Lacey Evans, Austin Theory, who will be taking the U.S. title with him, Charlotte Flair, The Usos, Rey Mysterio, Zelina Vega, Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, Asuka, Sheamus, Rich Holland, Butch, Karrion Cross, Charlotte, LA Knight, Shotzi, Elton Prince, Kit Wilson, Rick Boogs, and Cameron Grimes.
So two things. So just like I said about the Intercontinental title, the U.S. title is back on SmackDown. Feels like 2004 all over again, and rightfully it should be.
Yeah, when they said that Gunther was going to Raw, I knew they were switching Austin Theory to SmackDown. But I'm cool with it. It's a nice
Right.
switch up. That's fine.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like the U.S. title belongs on that show. Just like it feels like old times again, just like the Ruthless Aggression era. The Bloodline, pretty much, they're on SmackDown. I mean, Roman is your champ, so I don't think they're gonna. It'd be stupid to break that apart. Now, you said that you had something to say about that part of the draft. What were you gonna say?
Well, I'm very upset about the fact that they're switching the women,
Yeah,
Bianca and Rhea, because I smell another belt swap coming along, and I really, really do not want to see that.
of course. And I don't like. Yeah, I don't like when they do that either. I think it's just like what the like. I just what's the whole point?
It's so
I
stupid, bro. It's so freaking stupid.
It
And
is
Bianca's gonna have her
a bit
and
like
Bianca's gonna have her over 1 year with the Raw Women's title, just like to end like that, where she just switches to the other title. So
right, right,
weird, man.
right. I know,
And
I know.
and also with Cody being on Raw and Roman being exclusive to SmackDown, it seems like they're gonna keep them away from each other for a while.
And that's thank you, and that's the point I was trying to get to. That this is going to be my rant of the night. So this whole entire time for a while, I was thinking that okay, they're going to have the rematch at SummerSlam, but because they brought in a new title, I said to myself, okay, I already knew they're going to put Roman on SmackDown because dude, you need to remember Roman is really not. To me, he's not full time anymore as he used to, as far as defending his titles. Okay, so they're going to put him on SmackDown. They're not going to put him on the flagship show, expecting him to be there, every Monday night, which is not the case. So they're going to put him on SmackDown, and the fact that they have Cody on Raw, clearly, it really just messes up the storyline now because it's like, okay, what's with this whole story now? You're literally gonna have him wait a whole year now.
Well, it's not guaranteed. I mean, I know the way it looks right now that they're keeping them separate. I'm sure they're gonna do that for a while, but we still don't know for sure if they're gonna wait all the way until WrestleMania next year. It could happen. I hope it doesn't, but there's nothing official yet. It's just all hearsay for
I
now.
mean, or there's what's one observation I thought to myself the other day.
What?
I said to myself, despite them being on separate shows, right? You got to remember they still have to have the Money in the Bank pay per view. So it's possibly, I'm not saying it's true or not, but I mean they could have this scenario where Cody wins the Money in the Bank contract, and again he has that right to like look, I could cash in on whoever. So you may want to cash in that opportunity on Roman at any time.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. He could always win the Money in the Bank and then say, "I want you Roman at SummerSlam," or just cash it in on him randomly. Either or.
Right. Right.
Nah, but it needs to be an actual match. But it does need to be an actual match, not
No,
a
no, no. I
friendly tag.
feel like no, no, no. I don't think that's his style to do that, man. I don't think he would do that. He would do the same thing what RVD did or what John Cena did back in 2012. Like, look, I have I'm the holder of the briefcase, but I don't want to just cash it in behind your back. I want to do it, face to face, man to man, have a regular match. No run-ins or anything like that. Cody's not the type of person to do that. So if that were to happen, I trust his instincts. He would do it that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest, most of these picks on the draft weren't really a surprise. The biggest surprise to me was the fact that they're keeping some of these teams together that I thought for sure were gonna split up and that it was a wrap for them. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I
it's
mean, we
not.
we know the norm back in the day where you had teams for a while. They would break them up so they could see how well they'll do on their own. Surprisingly, I thought keeping the Street Profits together was surprising to me because I thought it would have been the best move to split them up to have them on separate shows. Because, bro, this was like 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, they would have split them up already.
Yeah, but I think they probably still will split up at some point, but I guess they're not doing it right this second.
Hmm.
But we'll see how it plays out. And then Damage Control staying together. I freaking was dumbfounded by that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was a bit surprised about that too because they lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah, they did big time.
Yeah, big time. But I don't know, man. Just the whole having Roman and Cody split up. It's kind of, if I have to be honest, man, it's a bit upsetting if I'm being honest with you because it's like you're kind of like killing the storyline because it's like what's like it's kind of like it's like a one and done thing, and especially how the way things ended at WrestleMania, and then you do this, it's a bit upsetting. So, but then again, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what their plans are for these next upcoming few months. So,
Well, the thing is, Cody's already feuding with Brock right now. I think that feud is probably going to go beyond the pay per view this weekend. So yeah, I think Cody's hands are tied for like the next few months anyway. So it's all good for me for now. But I just
and
hope
when
they
is
don't.
Money in the Bank again?
I
July?
believe it's July,
No.
the first weekend of July,
Hmm.
around that
I don't.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they
I
also
don't
kept
know, man.
Judgment Day together, which I was kind of surprised by. They kept Judgment Day together, and now Ray.
Ah, I'm not.
I kind of thought they might have split maybe Dominic away from them, but I guess not for now, or maybe.
Nah, nah, I'm not. Nah.
But the thing I was kind of surprised by is that they moved Rey Mysterio and the LWO to SmackDown, so now Rey and Dominic are separated again.
Right.
You know what's crazy? The LWO are like number one in merch sales for like the last 3 weeks.
I'm not surprised to hear that, man. Like, dude, that let me tell you something. That LWO t-shirt brand, especially among, especially if you're, Hispanic and you're a wrestling fan, that is a very popular shirt to have, other than getting an Eddie Guerrero shirt. So that is not surprising. So am I happy to see it back? I mean, yeah. Is it the same as how it was WCW? I mean, no. I mean, nothing will never be duplicated like the original. But this is not a surprise to hear this, and I'm actually happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's a good look, and also I think they're gonna have a big weekend this Saturday at Backlash, being in Puerto Rico, and
Oh yeah.
this shit's gonna be a big deal. They're also gonna be in Puerto Rico on Friday for SmackDown.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. I
Oh,
think the show will still be good. I mean, to be honest, things have been a little off since WrestleMania. Maybe they were waiting for the draft possibly, and that was why. But
it's just it's because how the way things ended. That's why things are weird. I had you're not the only one who feels that way. I feel that way too. I like I don't know, man. Like the past few weeks, I just been like I don't know. It's just like an empty feeling. Not I don't know why I would say empty feeling. It just feels like this very eerie feeling. Just like after that ending at WrestleMania and just with Cody and all that, it's just oh, it just feels weird to watch the product a little bit. How the way they did things.
yeah, like it's practically a month since WrestleMania, and after like a month, you still look back at
Yeah,
it like, damn, things just really haven't been the same
right.
since. Things have been kind of like off.
Yeah, man. And it just kind of like I just feel bad for Cody. I can't believe like you did all this and you just have him to come up short, and it's just like where's the fresh you want a fresh beginning, and we're not having that. We didn't get that. I think that's why I feel a little empty.
Yeah, but hopefully they know what they're doing. Hopefully they have a method to what they did at WrestleMania, and a few months from now we'll look back at this and say it was worth it.
Yeah, we said that a month ago after WrestleMania, so let's just hope that it remains to be true.
I knew it was gonna take longer than that, but we'll
I
see how it
know,
goes. And
right?
now officially Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are separated from the Usos. And after they beat them last week on SmackDown to retain their titles, it looks like we won't be seeing that feud for a while.
Right.
It was fun while it lasted though.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, all things have to come. I mean, not everything lasts forever. You know what I mean? Especially storylines in in WWE. You know what I mean? It was a long storyline, but it was a very exciting, and it kept you on your toes. So eventually, it had to come to at an end at some point. So I am looking forward to the 6-man tag match at Backlash between the Bloodline, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle.
Yeah, that should be fun, definitely. And then that'll be the last time we see most of these guys work together for a while.
Yeah,
But it was definitely a fun ride, and I feel like this is kind of like maybe a season finale in a sense for Kevin Owens
yeah,
and Sami Zayn, where they leave the sitcom.
yeah. And then Backlash is like the perfect. I believe that is like the perfect name, the perfect pay per view to end it, because Backlash has always been that pay per view as the WrestleMania revenge event to me. you know, you if you had a if you had a like a bad match at WrestleMania or whatever, to whatever circumstance, your goal was to get payback at the next pay per view, which was Backlash. So
And in some cases, and in some years, Backlash, or in some cases, Extreme Rules, would end up being better than the WrestleMania that happened the month before.
true.
I don't know if that'll happen this year, but overall, I do think this show will be very solid. And let's get into the card real fast and our predictions for it.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Pull it up.
Yes, the match you mentioned a second ago, we do have the 6-man tag. It's Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn against the bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Jay and Jimmy Uso with Paul Heyman in their corner.
Um, you know what? I mean, hearing about the bloodline, they're gonna do this for win this match for Roman. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna backfire on them.
They were supposed to win the match last week for Roman, but then that didn't happen either. So yeah,
Right?
I do think Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn pick up the win, and that further builds the dissension between the Usos and Roman
Yeah.
because they've kind of been on the outs with him ever since WrestleMania.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell, we haven't even seen Roman since the night after WrestleMania. Now that I think about it,
I know. Right? That's another surprising thing. I completely forgot about that too.
and there
Ah.
was a story that came out that Vince McMahon pitched like the next opponent for Roman for Night of Champions, and everybody kind of like scoffed at the idea that he had.
Hmm. I kind of
I,
heard the idea was AJ Styles.
I heard it was Omas. I heard one thing about it being Omas.
Ah, no. That
Didn't
that that was probably
surprise
why
me.
everybody scoffed at it. Yeah. No. Huh.
I want to get into Omas in our next prediction. So for this six
Yeah.
man tag, who do you have winning?
I have Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle winning.
Yes, and then the whole bloodline will be moving to SmackDown permanently, and Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Riddle will all be on Raw. So this will be the last
Right.
time we see all six of these guys mix it up for a while. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to
Gotcha.
it.
Absolutely.
And in a random match that had no build up and nothing of sort of the two even interacting with each other, we have Seth Rollins against Omos.
Yeah, I was like, where the hell did this came from? I have no idea how this idea came, where this idea came from. Yeah, there is no buildup. I just like, what the hell? I don't know. They ran out of ideas, and they were like, well, I don't know what to do with Rollins. I don't know what to do with Omos or what. I thought it was just weird, man.
Yeah, this whole thing just feels random out of nowhere. And I can see Seth Rollins being frustrated with like the direction of his character right now. Like if those stories are true, I could definitely see that with this current situation.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I mean, I definitely do see Rollins contending for the World Heavyweight title. So if they're going to do that, have Rollins get that momentum, so have him win.
Honestly, believe it or not, I think this could go either way. But if I had to pick a winner right now, I would have to pick Omos because he did lose to Brock at WrestleMania. So maybe this will be like a way of like building him back up again.
Okay.
Yeah, but this shit just feels random and thrown together. Like, what the fuck did this even come from?
Exactly what I'm saying.
But hey, maybe Rollins could pull out a great match out of Omos.
Well, I hope so, because, it's always good to make your opponent look good.
Yeah, and if anybody could make Omos look good, then I think Rollins could be that guy.
Right.
And for the SmackDown Women's Championship, we have Rhea Ripley, who's now a part of Raw, defending the title against Zelina Vega.
On the card says SmackDown Women's title though, but yeah, since she's on Raw, I mean, eventually they're gonna switch titles though. But yeah, I mean, this is very easy. They're gonna have Rhea Ripley to win. She just won the title. There's no way in the world she's gonna drop to Zelina Vega. No offense to Selena Vega, I like her though, but Rhea Ripley's gonna win.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun match though. I like how I'm really gonna enjoy like seeing how like their size differences, play into it. It's
Yeah,
gonna be like Rhea Ripley against a smaller opponent. Like if you ever see them go face to face, it's like crazy how much taller Rhea Ripley is than her, and how she freaking just towers over Zelina.
yeah.
But I think it's gonna be a fun match though. I think this match actually is gonna surprise a lot of people.
Okay.
It's also in Puerto Rico. I think that crowd is going to be very hot for Zelina, obviously, among other people we'll get into later. But I think it'll be a fun atmosphere for that
Right.
match. But I think Rhea will retain. I agree.
Okay.
Also, for the United States Championship in a triple threat match, we have Austin Theory defending against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed.
Ooh. You said Bobby Lashley's on SmackDown, right?
Yes, he is.
And Bronson Reed too, right?
Bronson Reed is a part of Raw.
Raw. Okay. This is good. I like how they put Bronson Reed in this match. Good for him. I'm happy for him. But I think Austin Theory is going to retain his title.
I think so too, considering he just got drafted to SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to give the belt to Lashley right now. I don't see it really
No.
happening. And since Bronson Reed's
No.
on Raw and they already have Gunther as the IC champion on Raw, yeah, I think Theory retains. But I think it'll be a fun match though.
Yeah.
Just too bad Lashley and Bronson Reed won't be able to feud a little more. I was actually starting to like their interactions on Raw the last few weeks.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And also for the Raw Women's Championship, we have Bianca Belair, who's now a part of SmackDown, defending against Io Sky, who's also a part of SmackDown. Some
Mm.
weird ass shit, Holmes.
You telling me? Tell you what. I mean, after what just happened, they're not gonna. They're not gonna have Bianca lose. She's gonna retain her title. So.
Yeah, this is basically just something for her to kill time.
Right. I don't know, man. I just ever since this year started for Bianca, it just hasn't. It just really hasn't been the same for her. If I'm being quite honest.
Yeah, like her opponents haven't really been, people who like you actually legit deep down thought were gonna beat her. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
and
hasn't had like a really good feud since the Bailey and Damage Control stuff, and that was like in November. Yeah, that was like almost 6 months ago.
it's been a while.
Now that she's going against Io Sky and they're kind of starting to tease the dissension with her and Damage Control, I definitely don't see Io Sky winning, but I do think it'll be a fun match. Just like WrestleMania, where it had a bad build and all that, the match still turned out great in the end. And I think the same will happen in this case. And also, just like WrestleMania, Bianca will retain
Right.
and then swap the belts with Rhea Ripley the next night on Raw.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm really upset that they're going to be doing that bullshit again. Why? Why?
It makes no sense.
I don't think it'll be like the catastrophe that the last one was with Becky and Charlotte,
And you know
but
what? No, 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 no. You know what makes it worse? It makes it worse when you just won the title. You just won the title, and now you're being switched, and kind of like, huh? You know what I mean?
yeah, one person just won the title at WrestleMania, and the other person has held that,
Right.
and the other person has held her title for over a year now,
Right.
and the longest black champion in WWE history. No other black superstars ever held the title longer than Bianca has for the Raw title the last year. It's crazy.
I have one more question before we move on to the next match.
What's up?
So, I mean, what are they going to do about the tag titles? Because, look, I understand that Sami Zayn and um, Kevin Owens are on Raw now, but it's like those are your tag team champions for Raw. So, I mean, what's the deal for SmackDown?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I guess we'll see what happens in the
Because it's
coming
like,
weeks.
right, because you can't, you got to have some tag team. opponents or tag team division for the other show.
We'll see what happens, man. I
Yeah,
really don't know.
yeah.
This whole time, this whole last month has just been very confusing, and I just hope that now that like they have like the draft and they have everybody where they want them and whatnot, that things start to get a little bit better, little bit.
A little bit.
All right, so in a San Juan street fight, we have Bad Bunny going against Damian Priest.
Who is the host of Backlash, ladies and gentlemen?
This should be fun. I'm looking forward to this match. This should be a lot of fun.
Yes, I am. Oh yes, I like the build. I like the build up. I like how what they've been doing. I like the promo from Damian Priest this past Monday on Raw. Actually,
Yeah, half of it was in Spanish.
yeah, kind of reminiscent when Eddie Guerrero would do his segments because sometimes he'll say something in Spanish. But yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but not like for half the promo.
Yeah, yeah, not half. I mean, yeah, but still,
Yeah, that was different. I mean, I'm
yeah.
sure he was saying some cool shit, but I was like, damn, I wish I knew Spanish, motherfucker. I took it twice in high school and I don't remember like half of it.
You got to keep up with it. That's the thing. That's like the thing that I
Yeah,
learned.
you're
You
right.
gotta,
You're right.
yeah. Like
You're
if
right.
you don't say it for a while, you're gonna like, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's like working out in a sense. If you don't work out for a while, you end up falling out of shape.
True.
I thought they were gonna do like a tag match with like Ray and Bad Bunny against Damian Priest
That's
and
what I
Dominic.
thought. That's what I thought.
But I like this direction also. I think I also like this idea.
Yeah, I don't mind it though. But for my prediction, dude, you're not gonna have the person who's hosting a pay per view also in their home country. You're not gonna have that person lose. You're not gonna have Bad Bunny lose. So Bad Bunny's gonna win.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun match, but yes, I do think Bad Bunny's gonna win, and I'm happy Damian Priest is gonna be in this spot because I know out of all of Judgment Day, he was the only one who didn't have a match at WrestleMania. So like this is like
Yeah.
this is kind of like a way of paying him back in a sense.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not from, they're not in his, home country though, but still though, he is Puerto Rican. But this is really a good moment for him.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun match. I a part of me kind of has a feeling that it might close the show.
It will. It will. It should. I mean, I think it. Well, no, no. I'm sorry. We forgot about one more match. No, it. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah, so
get
that
what you're saying. I get what you're saying though, but this next match, I believe it will be the last one to go on.
yeah, so that last match we were referring to was Cody Rhodes taking on Brock Lesnar for the very first time.
Well, okay. The idea behind it's cool, but again, just after what happened, man, at WrestleMania, it's just an empty feeling, dude. Um, with the rumors that I've been hearing about how they're still going to continue to feud, I don't think we're going to get ourselves a winner in this match.
So kind of like an Undertaker Brock Lesnar Unforgiven 2002 scenario.
Somewhat like that, yes. Yeah. We're
It
probably
could
going to have
happen.
no contest. It's going to lead to another match to continue the feud. Is it going to be a good match? I believe so, yes.
Yeah, more than anything, like I know we had our frustrations with Cody not winning at WrestleMania and whatnot, but at the end of the day, he's still in the main event. He's still in the main event picture. He's in a marquee match with Brock. I think it's gonna be a great match at that too. I think even if it is a bullshit finish or whatever, I think this match will still be fun and still have a lot of appeal.
I agree.
I do think also that it will probably be like kind of a disqualification of some sort. I think probably
Yeah,
Cody will get disqualified. I think he's probably gonna lose his temper and then hit Brock with like a chair or a kendo stick, and then yeah, he'll get disqualified.
probably. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. All I know is that, dude, Saturday. Oh my god, the Saturday slate is going to be just off the wall. So much going on Saturday. You have Backlash going on. You have Game Three, Lakers and Warriors at Staples. Yes, I still call it Staples Center. Um, we have the Canelo fight going on that same night. He's fighting in in his home in Mexico City, I believe. And Padres Dodgers. There's too much going on Saturday. Do the Knicks play on Saturday, Kurt?
I believe they do. Yes, they do play Saturday
Oh
afternoon,
my God!
3:30.
Woo, boys! Woo, Woo, Lord! Get
Yeah,
your
it's gonna be
popcorn ready.
shit. There's gonna be a lot to keep up with on Saturday. Holy
I
shit!
know. I mean, I've
But
I've
I
been through this before though, but this right here, this one takes the cake, Kurt. Come
yeah, but I
on.
will say, but I will say that one of the things I'm looking forward to about Backlash this weekend is the freaking crowd.
Yeah, and the crowd and guys, like you guys go back to New Year's Revolution back in 2005. Um, that crowd was pretty hot. They showed
It,
that they they really love love wrestling. So I'm actually really happy to see another pay-per-view back in pay-per-view. You have a talented international star as Bad Bunny hosting it. It's just perfect.
and they have a great card too. The card looks great
Yeah,
overall, and I think it'll deliver. I think it'll still be a great show, despite all the things that have been going on the last few weeks and all the uncertainty and kind of things
yeah,
not making sense. I think overall the show will still deliver, and at the end of the day, that's what counts most.
right.
Actually, I was gonna mention that I watched this video the other day online about New Year's Revolution in 2005, like the backstory behind it, and how like they never really did like a major show in Puerto Rico for like
Oh,
20 years. I think it was like in 1985 they did one, and like a
oh my
storm
God.
hit and like caused a bunch of problems.
Oh wow.
And then obviously Puerto Rico was notorious for the whole Bruiser Brody incident that happened.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then when they finally went there in 2005, they talked about the fact that like there was like multiple injuries throughout the night. Like Eugene got hurt in one match, and then Lita got hurt in the other match.
Oh yeah.
And also the whole show in general sucked except for the main event. That was like the main consensus of it.
I need to watch that pay-per-view again.
Well, according to this review, you should probably just watch the main event and skip everything else.
Okay. And in our humble opinion, it's probably one of like what top five best elimination chamber matches.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Top five.
Yeah, but I'm happy that they're going to be in Puerto Rico again for a major event for the first time
Yeah.
in 18 years, and I think it's going to be a fun night. With that, with the NBA games, your Padres games, and all that, yeah, it's going to
Ooh.
be a popping Saturday.
And they're playing against the Dodgers of all teams. Yeah. Oof. It's gonna be Lord Cinco de Mayo weekend, boy. Oof. Wild.
And also, it's going to be Wildest
Wild.
AEW's All In show that will be taking place August 27th at Wembley Stadium, as they've already sold 36,000 tickets in their pre sale, and with more to come.
Good Lord.
That's impressive, bro. 36,000 tickets, and they have more still to be on sale.
And how big and how like what's the average attendance they usually do for like just any event over there?
For Wembley Stadium, I think it's maybe 80,000 ish. I don't know. They could do 60,000 for this show, possibly. Very possible.
It's possible.
With 36,000
Wow.
tickets sold already,
Sheesh.
that's a good look.
Wow.
That's a good look for a non WWE show.
Crazy.
But there were some people hating on this whole thing. One of those people being Mike Coppinger from ESPN, and this is what he had to say in a tweet.
What?
This is what he said. Hearing Wembley is scaled for only 40,000 for AEW, far cry from last April when I was ringside for Tyson Fury, Dylan White, and it was packed to the brim with 94,000. Nothing big beats the big fight feel at Wembley. And this is what Tony Khan said. Lies. What a load of crap. Tell your agent Nick Khan to shove it up his ass.
Wow.
And he also said, since you carry the credentials of a credible reporter and represent the worldwide leader, I'm just curious, who was your source for this? And how can a reporter representing ESPN tweet something about a legit news story that's so blatantly wrong and easily verified as a falsehood?
Okay, why is somebody from ESPN literally hating on a fact that another event's being held out there? Like, what is that business is to him?
I don't know. Maybe the dude just doesn't like AEW or something, and he was just trying to like get
Doesn't
some
matter.
clout.
Like, oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I know Eric Bischoff talks shit about Tony Khan all the time and talks about how bad AEW is and how he mismanages this, mismanages that. They do this wrong, do that wrong. And he stays hating on
Uh,
AEW and CM Punk. He stays
wow.
clowning CM Punk too. He said CM Punk looks like the guy who would change your oil at like at a mechanic shop.
Are you freaking serious?
Yeah, that's what he said.
He said that?
Yeah, Eric Bischoff stays
What?
shitting on CM Punk. Oh shit, Eric Bischoff was on Raw Monday.
Yeah, I know. I was about to mention that. But you know that you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Remember the night after SummerSlam 2011 when Kevin Nash cut that promo and then CM Punk came out and he was Kevin Nash made a comment about Punk. He looked like he works at a Waffle House.
Oh shit, Waffle House. What the fuck? Fucking Waffle
That
House.
was, huh?
Fucking Waffle House.
But which I've never been there yet.
Bro, if bro out here they have them like pretty much on every corner.
Well, yeah, I mean you're in the South, of course.
Bro, there's literally two different Waffle Houses within a 7-minute distance from my house.
Bro, that's like your guys' Roberto's. Like, you know how there's like a Roberto's around every corner here in Vegas? That's pretty much
Yeah.
how it is for you guys. So I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, to be honest, we don't really have Denny's like that out here. We don't because like Denny's you see a lot in Vegas, but you do
Mm.
not see Denny's really at all in Atlanta.
Yeah, because it's all about the Waffle House. That's their cornerstone.
There's still IHOP
Yeah.
out here and like Cracker Barrel here and there, but yeah, Waffle House is like that shit out here for people, at
Wow.
least for people who eat that shit.
Never been there.
I haven't eaten at Waffle House since 2006.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, because that was the year I was kind of like
Is it
trying to stop
is
eating
it
junk food.
small in there, bro? Huh?
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of small, I guess.
Oh, okay.
It's
Wow.
funny. The Waffle House I actually used to eat at in Florida. Actually, there was a murder that took place there a couple years before.
I've always heard the notorious thing about that place is that there's always fights going on.
Yeah, it sounds about right because it's a place people go to like in the middle of the night after they've been drinking and partying, and then they come to a place like that and they probably see somebody looking at them the wrong way, or they bump into someone, or they
Lord
try to talk, or
Jesus.
they try to start shit with the waiter or start shit with the manager. Yeah, actually,
Unbelievable.
when I lived in New York, I used to work at this like 80s themed diner like in the middle of New York City, like yeah, in the middle of
Yeah.
Manhattan, and yeah, like at 4 in the morning
Yeah.
when like the clubs would let out and like the bars would let out, they would all come there and yeah, they would be drunk as fuck, acting stupid, trying to fuck with you, and yeah, it would be a mess. Like that, the working those shifts was a fucking nightmare. Fucking nightmare.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I really feel for the people who
Wow.
work at those places. Yeah, because that shit is not fun, and I would not ever want to go back to that shit. No, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets wild, bro.
Mm-mm-mm.
That late night crowd at those kind of restaurants, it gets wild, man.
Wow.
Seen some shit go down. Made a lot of money from those crowds too, because
Well, I
yeah, because at
bet.
that place the tip was already included, like after midnight, and some of the people who
Yeah.
would pay they wouldn't know that because they were too drunk and didn't pay attention, and they would just leave extra money.
That's a win-win for you.
Pretty
Oh
much.
my
I mean, I
god.
had to deal with their shit, and
Ugh.
it was a nightmare dealing with their shit and dealing with all the hecticness. But whatever, the money talks at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, yeah, we were talking about Waffle House
You
and
know,
everything.
speaking of money talks, I tell you what. Speaking of money, I just wanted one quick question because of the fact that have a new world, have the new world heavyweight championship belt. I do believe that they are going to have the replica. They already have the replica belts out on WWEshop.com. Do you think this is going to sell a lot?
It probably will, more than likely. But yeah, I think we were talking about like Waffle House and shit with this old CM Punk thing. But let's get into CM Punk real fast. As he actually made a visit backstage to Monday Night Raw because it was actually in Chicago, and he ended up meeting up with Triple H.
Crazy.
Actually, he met up with Triple H and talked to him for like 2 minutes briefly in front of like everybody else. He also like said
Wow.
hello to a few people, and one of the people he actually talked to was the Miz. And from what the reports came out for it was that they actually made amends and squashed their beef that they've had for the last few years.
That's good. I am surprised that he was there. I knew he was in Chicago, but I didn't know he was at Allstate Arena. I knew he was somewhere else, but actually I am glad to hear that he made amends with the Miz.
That was cool to hear about. I'm happy that that happened because I remember like CM Punk kind of bashed him on his DVD when he was talking about how the Miz main evented WrestleMania over him, and then
Oh yeah, yeah, which I still have by the
yeah,
way.
and they got into it, and they got into it on Twitter a couple years ago over like that backstage show.
Wow.
But it's good that he made peace with him. That's some good shit. But then after a few minutes, Triple H he was told that from orders of Vince that he had to leave, and he actually left peacefully. He didn't cause any problems, and it was just a cool visit. That was actually the first time he's gone back to visit the WWE show backstage since the night he walked out.
Crazy.
9 years ago
Crazy,
now.
crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah.
I'm not sure why he did this per se, or like why he picked this particular time. Actually, no, I take that back. I can kind of get a vibe of why he decided to do this now, possibly.
All right.
Because he's about to go back to AEW and make his return soon. So he's probably kind of doing this maybe in a way of, for one, trying to, get people to start talking about him. And for two, considering that, what he did with The Miz and also, being cordial with Triple H to kind of maybe send a message to the Young Bucks that, like, he's willing to, make amends and, be peaceful and, be
That's a good point.
easier to work with. That's probably, yeah, it could be either of those things or both of those things.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, and he also apparently had a meeting with Chris Jericho last week in Jacksonville, and from what's come out about it, it went okay. It actually went fine.
Mm,
So we'll see what
that's a good
happens
point.
when he does come back to AEW, because apparently he is coming back in June, and he's going to be a big part of that new show that they have called Collision on Saturday nights. And they're saying that his first feud is actually going to be with Jericho when he gets back.
I don't wish he'll be part of Double or Nothing coming up later this month during Memorial Day weekend.
I mean, look, we both had our feelings about the way he handled himself during that press conference, and also all the other stories that have come out about him over the years and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, him coming
Mm.
back is going to spark a lot of interest.
Of course, of course.
And if they want to work together, there is a lot of good that can come out of Punk working with the Bucks and working with Omega. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one until I'm proven wrong.
Gotcha.
And also, CM Punk was backstage at the Impact show this past Friday in Chicago,
Yeah, see, that's what I saw.
and a certain somebody made their Impact debut at that show, and that certain somebody was Naomi.
Yeah,
So Naomi is now a part of Impact Wrestling, and she's going to be a contender for their Knockouts Championship.
that's good.
She's gonna.
It's really, man. Yeah, I felt so bad when Mickey James had to forfeit it, man. Oh, that promo that she cut,
I actually didn't see it.
she had to forfeit the
Actually
title.
didn't see it. What happened?
So I don't know. I think it was due to an injury because her doctor was saying that she couldn't compete anymore. So she pretty much cut a promo by herself alone. Just it was completely dark. Spotlight was on her. Talk about how, hey, I can't do this no more. Pretty much saying, she hates the fact that she has to forfeit, and talked about how her injury is the cause of it. But it was a very just like, you know, down. You know what I mean? Kind of like a down moment. So I shared it on one of my stories. I'll send it to you after we're done. But yeah, it was a very kind of like a gut wrenching promo. It was kind of like similar to Shawn Michaels. I lost my smile promo. If you a little bit in the way.
Okay, or like Daniel Bryan's initial retirement. I get you.
Yeah, yeah. And the crazy thing about that promo was is that she left for she took her hat off and she put the belt, in the middle of the ring. And she left.
Damn, it's too bad, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope Naomi gets the title though. It's
Yeah,
good
she'll
for
probably
her.
get it at some point. Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. I wasn't expecting her to end up at Impact, but she is definitely a big plus for the women's division. She's definitely a huge pickup. Huge pickup.
She needs that fresh start. I mean, after what happened with the falling out with WWE really got to her, so she just wanted to move on and like, look, I don't want to deal with this anymore. and she has. So this is the new start that she needs.
Yeah, she was on Busted Open Radio, and she basically talked about why she left WWE, and like basically that last day, like the day her and Sasha walked out, the main thing that bothered her was the way she was talked to by like upper management, like the way they treated her and Sasha. That was like the last straw for her, where like that pretty much broke her.
Right.
She said that shit broke her. She actually had an injury she was wrestling with for about a year, but she didn't say anything about it. She just kept wrestling through it. And then after that whole thing happened, when she walked out, she had surgery and was out for, and had a rehab for a while. And she said that was kind of like a dark time for her because she was so used to being on the road and traveling, and then she ended up leaving WWE the way she did, and then having to stay at home now and not be able to travel and be with her friends and also her husband. It was like a dark place for her, but she kind of
Right.
feels like it was a blessing in disguise because like now she's where she's at now at Impact, and she has a lot of good feelings about it, and she feels like it's a place where she wants to be and that she needs to be, and that it's gonna kind of like give new life to her career. Yeah, it's funny. She's never been anywhere else besides WWE, so it's gonna be interesting to see her like in a new place.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I could see how she felt that way, and especially with the women in general. Like you hear for years horror stories about the way women are treated in WWE, and even though things have gotten better over the years, in some ways maybe they haven't gotten better.
Uh, Let me see what happens, man. Well, I mean, you got to remember, like I mean, it's not the first time this has happened. Every wrestler who has like long term relationship with the company. I mean, it doesn't always last long. Like, I mean, look at Hulk Hogan. He had a long lasting relationship, and eventually he went to WCW. So it happens, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate it had to end that way, but Sasha's benefiting very well from it. Like her work in Japan is looking mad dope.
Oh, you could tell that she's loving it, dude. Oh,
Yeah, I heard she. Yeah, I told you that story a few weeks ago that she moved to Japan and she's also
yeah.
learning to speak Japanese and all this. Yeah, she's taking it seriously. More power to her.
Hmm.
And also, yeah, Naomi now in Impact. That's a huge pickup for them. I actually need to start watching the Impact a little more often. At least check it out.
Where does it come on?
That's what I need to figure out. Like, I don't know how to find it.
It's kind of like this is feels like the dirty days of ECW. We didn't
Exactly.
know when it came
Exactly.
on and where it came on. Sheesh.
Real talk, bro.
Wow. Dude, it was easier for us to find TNA on TV at times, man. Well, back, when it first started, but
I remember when TNA first started, it was a weekly pay per view. Every Wednesday would be a pay per view.
I, when I first
Like
started watching
2002.
TNA, that long, holy crap. I think I didn't start watching that till like 2004.
I didn't watch it regularly, but I knew of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it came on some like Fox Sports channel, if I remember, and then a year later, I think after when Raw went back to USA, TNA got the Spike TV deal. That's what happened. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's in yeah, oh 05.
yeah.
Oh 05.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They were on there for a few years, and then
Yeah,
their ratings like really dipped low to the point where they got cut. And ever since then, they've kind of like been like in a flux as far as like consistency, like being on
yeah.
a major network.
Crazy.
But they're still holding on. 20 years later, they're still holding on.
I know. Surprisingly,
And I always heard their women's division was popping before WWE's women's division became popping.
during that time, let me try to.
Yeah, like early 2010s, like late 2000s, early 2010s. Yeah, I always heard their
Mhm.
like women's division was always solid during that time, and like before WWE started catching on, and letting the women do their thing. Impact was doing that shit. It felt like it was good up until the point where like Hogan and Bischoff got there. That's when I heard it started to like have problems and started to
Yeah.
not be the same anymore. It's crazy. Angle. I remember when Angle went there. That was a huge pickup for them.
Hmm.
Yeah, Angle just came off of like being in WWE for 7 years, and yeah, I was surprised when he went there. But it's crazy. Like his TNA work, in many ways, people say is better than his WWE work.
Hmm.
He was there
Well, that
longer, technically.
he was. He was. That is true. That is true.
Yeah, but in any event, let's get into this recent lawsuit that WWE and their other executives are facing now. The lawsuit basically is about them like discriminating and also retaliating against a black female writer. who basically had issues with their offensively racist and stereotypical jargon, which was used in the scripts of black wrestlers, including Bianca Belair and Apollo Crews. The lawsuit is basically Brittany Abrams versus WWE, and this is what it states. Around 2021 spring, Ryan Callahan pitched that a white Caucasian male wrestler with a hunting gimmick would hunt a black male wrestler for fun. In a nutshell, the said hunting gimmick pitch for new wrestlers Shane Thorne and Reggie was, since Shane is Australian, we should make him a crocodile hunter, and instead of crocodiles, he hunts people. Subsequently, a storyline was pitched by Callahan where Shane would capture Reggie and constantly beat him up, but Reggie would always escape after being captured. Holding Reggie captive in cages was also discussed. What the fuck? Are you hearing this shit, man?
I'm hearing this and I'm just trying to not picture this in my head right now.
It gets better. Yeah, it gets better. Miss Silvers and Plaintiff, the only black writers on the team at the time, were tasked to pitch a love storyline between wrestlers Aaliyah Mansour and Angel Garza. Miss Silvers and Plaintiff pitched that Mansour has a secret that he's keeping from Aaliyah. Ryan Callahan, who's involved in the lawsuit, by the way, disagreed with the secret Miss Silvers and Plaintiff wanted for the character. Instead, Callahan suggested, how about his secret is that he's behind the 9/11 attacks?
I heard about that. That was
Oh
Jesus.
my god. Are you fucking kidding?
Oh my god.
A key detail in the lawsuit also states that Bianca Belair informed the plaintiff that she told Chris Dunn, and who's also involved in the lawsuit, 3 different times that I don't want to say that line, but he never listens to me. He puts that line in every week. Belair also said the script's discriminatory lines made her look quote unquote ghetto. A script including instructing Bianca Belair to say, don't make me take off my earrings and beat your ass.
Yeah.
WWE forced wrestler Apollo Crews to speak with a Nigerian accent just because of his Nigerian lineage.
Yeah.
Plaintiff emailed Ryan Callahan and complained about the offensive nature of the requirement for Apollo Crews to speak with a stereotypical and exaggerated Nigerian accent. However, despite plaintiff's complaint, Callahan failed and refused to take corrective action, and as a result, Callahan and WWE forced plaintiff to require Apollo Crews to speak with a racially artificial Nigerian accent. It was discussed in WWE's Writers Slack channel before a show that a wrestler, Reggie, would dress in a drag complete with wigs and tights so he could partner with Carmella, a female wrestler, in a tag team match against other female wrestlers. WWE eventually scrapped the discriminatory pitch, but only in response to a white Caucasian individual's protected conduct in the form of Miss Listenberger's complaint.
Okay.
Holy shit, man. Holy shit. Did you hear
Yeah.
all that?
I'm gonna tell. Yeah. That's that. Oh my god! Just slap in the face right there. I'm gonna tell you what. That whole Apollo Crews thing, the whole Nigeria gimmick thing that they did a couple years ago, because I remember that. I thought that, to me, I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, it was weird. And they had him and Biggie like in a Nigerian like prison match at WrestleMania, I remember a couple years ago, or like a Nigerian street fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was it was so stupid because it's kind of like it shows that you're not being creative. It's like you're just because whatever your ethnicity is, they're gonna like want to let's do something based off of that instead of just letting the wrestlers just be themselves. I thought the whole Nigerian gimmick thing that Apollo Crews was doing was just it was stupid.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
I thought it was just so
Yeah, it
dumb.
was so crazy. They were giving him kind of like a push. Like they put that Commander Aziz dude with him. They gave him the IC title. But yeah, that accent was mad off. That definitely didn't need to be a
It
part of
was,
it.
man. It was just like why like come on.
He could have still been proud of his heritage and all that, but they didn't have to make him do that accent.
Right.
And also the Bianca shit. And Bianca like told the dude like multiple times, like, I don't want to say that line. And they kept putting that same line in the freaking script anyway.
That's what I'm saying. And the whole like, I'm gonna take my earrings off and beat you. Like, bro, like seriously? Like, come on. Last but not least, the whole 9/11 storyline. I God, I because I heard about that a couple days ago. I think it was yesterday. When I heard about that, I my jaw just completely just dropped when I heard about it. The one thing that really has bothered this country is the 9/11 attacks. And for them to just, I mean, we know how affected we were from that day, and to make a joke about it into a wrestling storyline is just like words can't describe like what are you doing? You know what I mean? Stupid,
I mean, it never saw the light of day, but the
idiot.
fact that it was even pitched is like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about see Muhammad Hassan storyline. That didn't bother me because they didn't go to that route. But this right here, you know what I mean? Like, come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and also the shit with Reggie, like having him be hunted by a white dude and locked in a cage,
Oh,
and have him
dude.
dressed.
You know what this reminds me of? You know what that reminds me of? You know what I was thinking about when you were telling me that?
What were you thinking of?
The movie Get Out.
Oh shit! Oh my! Oh no!
Yeah, that's literally what just came to my mind when I heard that. I'm thinking about the movie Get Out. Like, just as much as I love that movie, it's just it does have a powerful message though, but it's very suspenseful and eerie though when you think about it, man. So when you're telling me that, it's just like, dude,
Yeah, that movie did have a powerful
you know what I
message
mean?
that the dude who works at the airport will always come through for you.
uh,
Oh, they're actually filming Vacation Friends 2 right now.
Vacation Friends.
That was the movie with John Cena and also the dude from Get Out, the best friend who saves him, and also like yeah, the girl from
Oh, okay.
where like that dude and his wife meet John Cena and his wife, and they're all like best friends on vacation and get into a bunch of crazy shit.
Right,
And then
right, right.
when they get back from their vacation, John Cena and his wife like follow him to their hometown and try to like to be a part of their wedding and shit. Yeah, it's like a whole thing.
Right. Okay, okay.
All right, but anyway, yeah, that shit with like Reggie and then like having him dressed like in a dress and like tag team with Carmella. Like why? Like why would they think that's a good idea? Like it wasn't good when Santino Morella dressed up like as a girl and won like the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal that one year, and this shit would not be any better.
It's always against the wrestlers of ethnicity. They always trying to, poke the bear. It's like, why are you guys doing this? Where's your creativity at?
I also heard another writer say the other day from that used to work for WWE, a black writer,
Oh yeah, that is not.
that
Yeah,
like it's not a good
go
place
on.
to
Yeah, yeah,
that it's not a good place to work. Like if you're African American, if you're part of the LGBTQ community or anything along those lines, because they said like the guard there like really is kind of like stuck in their ways. That old guard being Vince, Bruce Pritchard, and I guess Kevin Dunn.
yeah.
Damn, that says a lot, man. That really
I
says a
heard
lot.
about. Yeah, I read about
That shit
that.
says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this whole thing more than anything else
Sheesh.
exposed like how shitty of a job it would be to work on WWE's writing team. These kind of antics going on, these kind of charades, and you're like on call 24/7. Like Vince could call like a meeting at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and that meeting could be like to tear up whatever script you've already been working on and start all over.
Yep.
Yeah, bro, that's not like a job I envy anybody in. Holy shit, no way. And I'm glad that girl's suing them for that. But I guess she's like suing them for kind of, I guess, money she's losing out on because they ended up firing her, and also for like making it a harmful working environment and doing things to mess with her, etc. But damn, they don't come off looking
Hmm.
good in this case, not at all.
No, they don't. I'm. Lord Jesus, dude. Like, I thought the storyline they did with the back in the early '90s of Slaughter and Hogan. I thought that was a bit, pushing it though. But this right here, dude.
Yeah, they've done some like like shit that didn't make any sense. that was just in bad taste and like
Yeah.
just wasn't necessary. Like,
Don't get me wrong. WWE's always WWE is known for doing storylines that are bad taste, but when you do stuff like that, that's pushing it, man. Completely.
yeah,
Can't be doing that.
John Moxley even said before he left WWE, like they scripted him one line in a promo that was like so offensive and so bad that he refused to say it.
Wow.
He's saying they would have lost a lot of sponsors if he said that line.
Did he say what it was?
No, he only told Jericho like off the record, like when the podcast, like privately. But yeah, that shit he said was that bad. So it doesn't surprise me that to hear about a lot of these stupid ideas, and that makes you think like what other like crazy ass ideas do they have that we don't hear about?
And I don't want to know. If I'm being honest, I don't want to know.
Yeah, you never know what kind of shit they're talking about behind the scenes.
Right, right, dude. Like, if this was bad, I mean, I know it's worse. I know it's worse, but it's just come on. Like, it's even sad. You don't hear stuff like this in Hollywood.
I'm sure it probably goes on in Hollywood to a degree, definitely. Maybe not as much as it used to, but
Well, not good enough to get passed by the studio to like, oh, we're gonna make this into a movie. You know what I mean?
oh my bad. I was actually thinking about more of the fact of I guess like how they treat black employees,
Oh, I mean, maybe I don't know.
or like how they treat, yeah, like how they might treat a secretary, like a,
Yeah,
let's say like a white executive has like a black secretary and he might say some shit to her,
yeah,
racist shit,
true, true.
possibly. But yeah, so crazy. I would only want to be a fly in the wall to see what goes on in that writing room, but I would not want to work there under any circumstances.
I wouldn't either.
Maybe just a week if it pays enough, and then just cash out and run.
Depends on how much I'm being paid for it. But yeah, you are right about that.
Yes, but congratulations go out to Carmella and Corey Graves, as it was announced a few days ago that Carmella is pregnant with their first child.
Yes, I heard about that too. Congratulations to them. And how long have you been married?
They got married last year. Actually, they got married last year.
Oh, okay.
They've been together for about 4 years or so, but they officially got married last year.
Nice, nice.
I'm happy for them because I heard about Carmella's miscarriage a couple months ago.
Oh no.
That's why she was out for a while,
Yeah.
and now they have another chance at it, and I'm happy that it's
Awesome.
happening.
Yeah, let's just hope and pray that she's able to give birth and it'll come through now.
Also, I guess it explains why she wasn't on WrestleMania, why they took her out of the four women tag team match.
Right.
And also, props to Nia Jax. She posted a picture last week showing that she lost 48 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she lost
Nice.
48 pounds, and apparently Charlotte's been the one who's been helping her.
Oh, okay, okay. Awesome.
Her and Charlotte are really tight, and yeah, Charlotte's been like, I guess sending her workout videos, and like I guess maybe training with her also personally. So
Hmm,
yeah, she's getting in a lot better shape.
that's good.
And apparently she's probably more than likely coming back to WWE sooner than later.
Oh, so that's the whole. Because I was about to ask you, is there a reason behind it? But then again, I mean, there hasn't happened. I mean, it could just be because she wants to, just want to lose that weight. But so that's the reason. So she's trying to mount a comeback.
I heard that Nia Jax got the bug like to come back, like from that one off she had at the Royal Rumble. So yeah, now I guess she's like really been focusing on getting in shape, and who knows, maybe she'll make an appearance in the Money in the Bank women's match.
They may never know. I got to see these pictures though.
Yeah, she looks pretty good. She was always a pretty girl, but I'll never knock anybody for wanting to
Yeah.
lose weight and trim down. I'll never knock that.
Right.
And also, it seems that Alicia Fox is officially done with WWE.
After 17 years.
17 years. Yeah, she officially, I guess, took her WWE name and references off of her social medias, and even put like in her bio WWE from 2006 to 2023. So I guess that's pretty much official that she's done with them.
Holy crap's in that long. Oof.
I,
Wow.
I know those two iconic photos of all the black female wrestlers in WWE with Bianca, Sasha, Naomi, Ember Moon, and Alicia Fox, and it's crazy. Out of all five of them, Bianca's the only one who's still in the company now.
Wow.
And one of those pictures was 2 years ago at the Royal Rumble. That was the second one.
Mm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Out of all five of them, Bianca's the only one still there.
Crazy.
But she's having a great run though. She's killing it, killing it. And she'll bounce back from like this flux. It kind of feels like she's in right now. She'll bounce
I
back,
believe she will. They all do. They all do. So I'm confident that she will.
and she's still the champion. At the end of the day, she's still the champion.
Right.
But definitely something needs to change with her soon. But that it is what it is. And
It
also,
does. So yeah.
also it came out yesterday that Sonya Deville's attacker from a few years ago, when that dude tried to kidnap her, that dude was sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Good. Can't condone that. There's no condoning that whatsoever.
Yeah, that's some fucked up, evil ass, crazy, psychotic shit.
Right.
Before we get out of here, I want to get into two things, kind of on the sad side, but let's get into those real fast. And last Thursday, it came out that Jerry Springer, longtime talk show host of the classic Jerry Springer show that we know of specifically in the 90s, passed away at 79 years old.
Yeah, man. I don't know what was going on with him, if he was dealing with any illness or anything like that, though. But yeah,
He
man.
had cancer. He had
Um,
cancer.
Jerry Springer was like pretty much part of our childhood. He was pretty much that. You could say he's like one of like when you think of the '90s, you think of Jerry Springer. He's like one of those things you think of when it comes to pop culture during that time. It was pretty much one of the ideas that the writers had for the Attitude Era because of that show, along with South Park and other things. But yeah, man, that show was crazy, funny, but just you watch that show
It was
and
outrageous. It was outrageous.
outrage. Yeah, and the crazy thing is like the popularity and the attention that show got. Just everybody ate it up. Anybody like I remember, like Jerry Springer. They did like a scene on in Austin Powers 2 where Doctor Evil and his son were on the Jerry Springer show. I thought it was just hilarious. That's like the best thing I've ever seen, the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Another one I like is the time that he was on the Wayne's Brothers, like
Oh
when they had
yeah,
that episode
yeah.
when Sean and Marlon were on there because like Marlon's girlfriend was trying to get with Sean behind Marlon's back,
Wow.
and they end up fighting.
Yeah, and you know what? Every episode you saw, man, was always because of somebody's relationship, because somebody cheated, or it was somebody in my family who's actually talking to me. It was crazy, man.
Did you ever watch those Jerry Springer like Too Hot for TV videos that they used to come out with back then?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, because when it would come on TV, like when it would regularly come on TV, they wouldn't really show the fights and like you really show the really raunchy shit, and you couldn't like hear them curse and whatnot. But you could tell they were cursing. But they had like these pay-per-view
Wow.
specials and like these everything that would happen on the show that you wouldn't see on regular TV, and that shit was wild, man.
How were we able to see this?
I remember it was on pay-per-view once when I was a kid, and that's like when I saw it. I'm like, fuck me,
Oh,
fuck
you know
me.
what? You wait. You know what? Hold up. I remember seeing those commercials for it. How because I was saying to myself like, wait, why are they having Jerry Springer on a pay per view? Like, I remember that. Never mind, but no.
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Before there was Girls Gone Wild, there was Jerry Springer Too Hot for TV.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy, crazy,
Yeah, that
crazy,
show was
crazy.
that show was so wild, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not big on talk shows anymore.
Talk shows were the thing back then.
Yeah, like in the 90s, talk shows were mad popping. There was Jerry Springer, Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones,
Montel.
Arsenio, Montel Williams,
Yeah.
Oprah, obviously.
Yeah.
Rosie O'Donnell had a show for a couple
Even
years.
though Oprah started in the 80s, but I believe it really popped off in the 90s.
Oh no, even in the 80s she was hot. Like even in the 80s she was a big deal.
Oh. Okay, okay.
And she was in The Color Purple, bro. She was just in The Color Purple like
Yeah,
right
yeah.
before her show started.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Jerry Springer definitely stood out from all those other shows to the point where I remember one time on Ricky Lake because my cousin used to watch it all the time when I stayed in New York. There was this one episode where like this guy invites his girl over on the Ricky Lake show to admit that he's been cheating on her, and she basically says, "Well, you should have brought me on the freaking Jerry Springer show because this is the wrong freaking place to tell me that shit."
Wow.
So crazy how
Sheesh.
influential that shit was.
Crazy.
Yeah, that Jerry Springer was associated with fighting as hockey was.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Crazy, but apparently he was like dealing with the cancer for like a short amount of time, but like he didn't really fill anybody in on it. and unfortunately, it took his life.
Damn, man. Oh, damn it.
But damn, that show was on for a good 30
25
years.
years. No, was it 25 years?
It was on from 91 to 2018.
Okay. Hmm.
And then like recently they gave him like a judge show. The last thing I remember seeing him on was like a judge show.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
They have like Judge Mills Lane, Judge Mathis, and all that shit. They have Judge Jerry Springer.
Wow. Yeah, I think I
But
remember that.
yeah, very influential talk show host, great career. It's so
Hmm.
funny. I always heard that. I remember hearing him say in an interview once that he personally hated the Jerry Springer show, but it was a good schedule and he made good money off of it, so that's why he stuck with it. A big reason why.
Okay. I mean, yeah, money, like you said, money talks,
And that
I
Steve
guess.
Wilkos dude that was like a security guard on the show ended up getting his own
Oh,
show.
yes. I remember. How could I forget about him? I was just about to mention him.
Rest in peace to Jerry Springer. His legacy
Yes.
and the legacy of that talk show will not be forgotten. No freaking way.
Never.
Yeah, there was like those episodes with all the raunchy shit with the fights and stuff. But then I think there was also this other episode where like these neo Nazis were on there and they pissed Jerry Springer off so much that he snapped at them.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he basically like it got to the point where Jerry Springer told the dude like, "Yo, shut your mouth." Like you never saw Jerry do that shit, and like those dudes pushed him to that
You
point.
know Jerry Springer's Jewish, right?
I did not know that, but now I do.
Yeah, I remember watching the True Hollywood story about him a long time ago, and I remember talking about how he was his family's Jewish or whatnot. So,
But one memory of the Jerry Springer show I do like that we've can kind of been seeing float around the last few weeks was the time that Razor Ramon was on there and he gave the kid who was sick the Intercontinental title.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was like in early '96, and
yeah,
he told him like, "Yo, if you never give up, you never lose."
right.
Good shit. And also, I think I sent you the clip a couple weeks ago. The time the Iron Sheik was on there.
Oh Lord, one quick one. I remember they had the Chicago Bulls mascot on there.
What?
Yeah,
How did that even work? The dude
they
can't even
had
talk. Can't even talk. How did that even work?
bro. They had it where she was dating the girl, and you know how the Bulls have two mascots. You have the regular mascot, and they have that big balloon one.
Yeah.
So they had it where the girl was talking to the regular mascot, talking about, hey, I've been talking to somebody else, and well, his name's Benny. So Benny the bull was like wondering, like, what was going on, and then next thing you know, the other Bulls mascot, the big one, comes out, and then dudes started fighting each other. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man,
That's like so stupid, but so funny at the same time.
That's what the show was. You're hearing stories that like are so stupid, but it's like like you. I don't know, man.
And I'm not gonna lie, there was like a hot minute, and I know a lot of people feel the same way that he was the reason why you would want to stay home from school sometimes.
Right. Same thing with Mari. I feel like Jerry Springer or Mari are like the two shows where you just hear this dumb stuff on that show, but you just tune in to watch it because it was so entertaining.
Yeah, the thing I liked about Mari, my favorite episodes of Mari were the freaking episodes with like the kids who were like, assholes to their parents, who were like talking shit to their parents and like always cursing and always like, causing a ruckus.
Right.
They would get like sent to boot camp to straighten them out. Like once the boot camp like counselors would come out, they would like just yell their face and scream at them and just make them cry, and they would just all break down, and they would like be begging their parents not to make them go. This shit was crazy.
Yeah, and it came back, and then they're all like normal, like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, and all that stuff, and yeah.
It's crazy. How do those kids even become that way in the first place? Like these are like 7, 8-year-old kids telling their mom to go fuck themselves and telling their mom and calling their mom a bitch.
Yeah.
There was this one episode I'll never forget where like they brought this little girl out, and Mari asked her, "What do you think of your mom?" And then she says, "I think she's a slut." A fucking 8-year-old girl saying this about her
Oh,
mother. What the fuck?
what the? Oh, God.
And the paternity test episodes were the worst. Those episodes were the worst.
And the funniest one, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk or anything like that, but the funniest one is like when they prove that person was not the father.
Oh shit.
The baby mama would always swear up and down that, oh, that's your baby and all that stuff and all that. But then when the test will come in, and when they prove that he was not the father, and hey, let's give props to the cameraman for following, because every time when it happened, the baby mom will always run backstage, but the cameraman did a good job in following him.
Yeah, and freaking, it was crazy. I'll never forget the first time I saw it when this girl found out that one dude she swore was the father of her baby wasn't, and then she like just ran off like just screaming and crying, and like it's like bro,
Yeah,
like you would have thought like it was like a death in the family or some shit.
right.
Shit was so wild. That shit was so fucking wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was fun for what it was. Like it's not something I would go back and watch now regularly, but it was fun for what it was during that time.
True,
Definitely.
true, true.
But yes, rest in peace to Jerry Springer. And also the Mari show ended recently from what I remember hearing.
I don't know how long ago though, but yeah, I didn't know that.
Honestly, one of my career goals in a few years, one of my career goals I do have is I want to be a talk show host.
Really?
Like a daytime talk show host. Yeah. For my internship in school when I was at UNLV, I started my own talk show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, about veganism in Vegas. I had like guests on and everything.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll send them to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be a fun career, like to be a talk show host or like a game show host. Yeah, that definitely be a lane I would want to go in.
that would be dope. I would definitely support that.
Yeah, I could be like back opposite Jennifer Hudson. Come on after her show. All right, but anyway, a sad anniversary that happened this past Monday as it marked the 20-year anniversary of the death of Miss Elizabeth.
You could say the first lady of the WWE, Kurt.
Yeah, bro, she was the first like real female, valet that I ever really noticed and like that really caught my eye. Where
Yeah,
like even as a
this is
kid, I
during the
was like,
'80s.
yeah, and
Yeah.
even as a kid, I was like, wow, that is one pretty looking girl. That was like one beautiful girl.
Hmm.
Holy shit. And I always maintain, like in the 80s, her and Macho Man were a package deal.
They were, because they look perfect with each other. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, you couldn't have one without the other.
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But this is the sad thing that really bothers me, man. It's just she was that person that didn't deserve what happened to her. You know what I mean? She didn't deserve it.
Not at all, but at the end of the day, she was a grown adult. I hate that it happened, obviously, but you can't really like blame Lex Luger for her dying per se. I'm not gonna say he didn't influence her and didn't, maybe turn her on to that stuff, but you can't blame him specifically for her death.
Because at the end of the day, you're an adult and you're responsible. You're in control of what happens, pretty much, right?
Yeah, hearing about that story is just so eerie about like, the fact that Elizabeth was like asleep was like drinking and popping pills and then I
Yeah.
think she was like fell asleep on the couch and then like Lex Luger was trying to tell her about like her food getting cold. He was trying to wake her up and she wasn't responding, she wasn't breathing. And the worst thing is that freaking 911 call, like the audio they released from it of like him like trying to get in touch with the police officer. It's like saying she's not breathing, she's not breathing. Please send somebody here to help, please. I'll never forget hearing about it on the news that night. I'll never forget that shit. Right after SmackDown dropped.
I
That's like when I heard about it.
I heard about it through the WWE magazine, if I remember.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
I remember they did a confidential episode about the whole thing.
Oh man, I gotta look. Do they still have that? They still have it on their content on Peacock, yeah.
They might somewhere. I haven't watched it in a minute, but they might have it somewhere.
Damn,
I don't know if
I
they have
love
that
those.
episode though. I don't know if they're gonna have that episode on there.
Still though, but still, I mean, I love watching those shows growing up. I need to look. I'll look.
Yeah, I like Confidential, but damn, bro, that story was just so eerie, and it's like she was like kind of the last person you would expect to die that way, and also that young for that
Right.
matter. She was like in her early 40s when she died.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's sad, man. That relationship with Lex Luger, and Lex Luger was also married at the time. I guess sent her down a bad
Mm-hmm.
path, and then unfortunately, it ended that way.
Damn.
Yeah, it's so crazy
20 years.
it's so crazy when I go back and watch those old shows with Macho Man and Elizabeth. It's so crazy to realize that neither one of them are here anymore. They're both gone.
Right. Yeah.
And it's sad they both went out as young as they did and the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
And if I would say if there's any woman deserving of being in the WWE Hall of Fame, it's her for damn sure.
You think she'll be inducted one day?
I want to say yes, but I don't know because it's like who does the speech for her, who accepts it for her.
Who else was in her life that was close to her
The
that's
only
still
the
around?
only other person I can think of is either Hogan or Hogan's ex-wife.
Hmm.
Actually, the very first episode of Dark Side of the Ring, in the first season, was about Macho Man and Elizabeth's relationship,
Okay.
and the main person they interview Hogan's wife for it,
Okay.
ex-wife. I'm
Okay.
sorry, ex-wife, because her and Elizabeth used to be tight back in the day.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's sad she went out the way she did, and that one definitely hit hard. And Bret Hart even said it best, I think, in his documentary, where he said Ms. Elizabeth reminded him of his mother in the sense that she was somebody who was too good to be a part of the wrestling business.
Hmm.
So may she rest in peace.
See what you mean by that. Yeah.
Also, let's get into the whole Chavo Guerrero comments that came out last week about Rey Mysterio, I guess, milking Eddie Guerrero's legacy or prostituting it in a sense. This is what he had to say. Like when he was doing I think he was doing a virtual meet and greet, and he was asked a question about the whole Eddie thing, and Ray always making tributes to Eddie, and this is what he had to say. We all love Eddie, but we're not going out with his gimmick and our gimmick. It was Los Guerreros gimmick, and come out with Los Guerreros. We lie, we cheat, we steal, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, keeping Eddie's memory alive." I say no, dude. I'm tired of people, and this is not a bitter thing. This is the truth. We worked hard for that last name. The whole family worked really, really hard to get that name to where it was, and we're tired of people prostituting it in a sense and using it for their benefit. So Rey Mysterio, I'm sorry that no one knows who Rey Mysterio Sr. is, and I'm sorry that you have to latch on to the Guerrero family, and we're just kind of tired of it. So thank you for keeping Eddie's name alive. Thank you for keeping the Guerrero name alive, but we don't need you. We're good. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So let's get one thing straight. I don't want to say it's necessarily Ray's idea for him to do that at WrestleMania. I don't know if it was his idea or it was the writer's idea. Okay. I just sense a bit of when I hear that, Kurt. I sense a little bit of like resentment.
He didn't come off well in that whole thing, and especially the things he said about Rey Mysterio Sr.,
Like you
saying
didn't
like, "I'm
have
sorry
right.
to."
Like no, he didn't have to say that. You don't have to mention Ray's dad. Like this has nothing to do with it.
That's actually
The
his
whole
uncle.
thing was about.
That's actually his uncle, not his dad.
Oh, okay. But still, you didn't have to throw his names in it. You didn't have to do that.
And then after Raw went off the air, he put out a tweet saying, "If you really want to benefit the Guerrero family or do right by the Guerrero family, you should give some of the royalties for Eddie to his daughters or something like that."
See, there's a lot of resentment there, man. And you got to remember, Ray's still wrestling. You know what I mean? And before WrestleMania, right? Have you heard Ray saying anything about Eddie Guerrero in any of his promos or anything like that?
No, but Dominic did reference him a couple times.
Okay, but still, though, it's like you got to remember, Ray played a big part of Eddie's life just as much as Chavo and everybody else, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Eddie was one of his best friends. He owes a lot of his career to Eddie Guerrero.
Right, right. So for just all it is just pettiness and resentment.
Yeah, him saying like, "Oh, you should donate that money to the Eddie's daughters if you really care. Like, if you really care about keeping the Guerrero name alive and all this shit." Yeah, he didn't come off well at all in this whole thing. And then after all the backlash he got from it, he tried to put out a tweet saying that he was just playing and that he was just being a heel.
How he's not even part. He's not. I don't see him doing anything in any wrestling promotion. The last time I heard about Chavo, he's a stunt coordinator in Hollywood.
He was just saying he was playing the marks. That was what he was saying. He was playing the marks.
Oh, no, no. Why do I feel like a classic? I'm getting like a Chavo heel. I feel like it's 2006 all over again.
Yeah, it just feels like in this case, like he kind of realized that people didn't like what he had to say and like let him know about it, and because of that, he backed off.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta learn how to keep your mouth shut. Sometimes, man, you gotta remember this is a different time where you say something on social media. You gotta be careful what you be saying, man.
Yeah, first the whole shit with Vicky Guerrero a couple weeks ago with her daughter, and now all this.
Yeah, Yeah.
And I heard apparently Vicky Guerrero is suing her daughter also
Oh,
because of that whole story that came out because of like putting all that shit out there.
right, 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 right.
But it's crazy. The sister admitted that the sexual assault actually happened, and Vicky's actually still staying with the guy and taking his side over the daughter's side
But
too.
the thing is, like I said, like I said last time, we don't know the whole story. There's always two sides of the story.
We don't, but apparently Vicky Guerrero got like a lot of backlash for like what she put out in the post, and it got to the point where like AEW removed her from the roster page.
Oh,
She was about to leave anyway. She wasn't going to resign, but still, apparently it might be hard for her to get another wrestling job in the near future because of how this all came about.
crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah, like you can't really air shit out like that in public. That shit is not gonna come out well.
No,
Like that's one thing I learned from the whole CM Punk thing at the press conference is like certain shit you should not air out publicly, especially in a setting like that.
yeah,
Yeah, but this whole but yeah, that whole Chavo thing, yeah, it just came off bad. And I know he was asked about it, but just certain things, yeah, you should probably just, even if you do feel that way, you should probably maybe not say them publicly because it's not going to turn out very well, even a little bit.
right. Not only that, but also talking about Rey Mysterio Senior. So
Yeah, that was a cheap shot. Yeah, the Rey Mysterio Senior thing was a cheap shot. But
yeah,
apparently, according to him, he was just joking, and that he even included Rey Mysterio about it ahead of time, and Rey was cool about it. But who knows? Who knows?
okay,
All right, but anyway, I think we just said what we needed to say for tonight. I need to catch up on some AEW Dynamite as well as the NBA playoffs, which are popping right now.
that's right. Your series is
My
tied,
Knicks are
and
doing work.
hopefully
Your
by
Lakers are doing work.
that's
And
right.
and more than anything, fingers
That's right.
crossed. I know it's a long shot, but I would love, and it would be a dream come true to see a Knicks and Lakers final.
Jesus,
That would be
that hasn't happened before. That hasn't happened since the '70s. My God.
yeah, 1970. I think it was. I think it was
Oh
1970.
man, Woo, imagine. But I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be tough though, because I know Jimmy Butler's coming back for Game 3. So,
Yeah, and last night we barely beat them without him.
good lord,
It's gonna be a long series. It's going to be a long series.
yeah, but an exciting one. So,
Also, I heard that Sacramento and Golden State Game 7 was the most watched first round Game 7 in NBA history.
not a surprise, man. I even watched because that's the first time Sacramento's been in the playoffs since 2006. They had an opportunity to eliminate the defending champions, and yeah, it just it feels good, Kurt. That's why I'm saying this time of the year is a good feeling because of the playoffs.
I'm happy Golden State advanced because I really thought like they like if they lost that Game 7 that it was pretty much over for them for good. But more
Yeah,
than anything, I got to give Sacramento a lot of credit. They really impressed me in that series. They really showed me that they're for real and they're going to be a team that's going to be around for a long time and it's going to be a contender for a long time.
they just need another key piece to make if they want to make a deeper run.
I think they can beat Golden State in the playoffs next year. I think next year if they play them in the playoffs again, they'll beat them.
They maybe, but like I said, they need another key piece to that team because yeah,
And I think win or lose this year is going to be the end of like the Warriors dynasty. I think after this year
true.
they're gonna split the team up and it's not going to be the same anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to end with a championship or not, but I would not count them out.
pretty much is going to be like the last dance for both State Warriors, right?
And I know, in your sake, you're hoping that that last dance ends in the second round.
I hope so too, dude. Hey, like I said, one game at a time. I don't like how the media is
Good win
kind of
last
like,
night. Good
but
good win last night though. Good win
yeah,
last night.
I'm just saying, just the media, they're kind of like downplaying the win because they're saying the Lakers, oh, they had rest, the Warriors didn't, and I'm just like, dude, you're kind of like downplaying the win. Okay, they shot more threes than us, and we still won. So
Don't give them too much time, bro. They need shit to talk about.
that's what I'm
Those shows are like
saying.
2-3 hours long. They need shit
Right.
to talk about. Even the littlest, smallest thing they'll make into a big deal. But this Boston and Philly series is looking like fun.
Didn't look fun earlier today for game two.
I'm about to go watch that game in a little bit, or at least catch the highlights of it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Huh. Even though Joel Embiid is the MVP, congratulations to him, though. But uh,
I just like the fact that this year, like a lot of the main superstars are still in the playoffs, and a lot of like the major cities are still in the playoffs. Like Miami's still around, New York's still around, LA's still around,
Yeah, like the pretty much the top market
Boston.
cities, Philly, Boston, yeah, in LA, yeah,
Yeah, like it feels in a way it just feels more exciting and more interesting when when those cities are involved.
true. Don't get me wrong, I love the Lakers though, but man, seeing the Knicks in the playoffs, man, that's just like wow. It was actually really a good feeling to see them in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Especially past the first round.
Yeah, and they're going against the Heat, like it's
Yeah.
like the '90s all over again. Yeah, that rivalry was crazy. Honestly, looking back at it now, like that was like my first real basketball rivalry I ever I was exposed to was getting into
Oh wow.
basketball like early on. Yeah, because I remember that rivalry vividly, like that game 5 and the '97 conference semis when that one dude got like body slammed or hip tossed or whatever, and everyone fought each other, and there was like a whole bunch of suspensions and everything. That series was crazy. And then the next year when Larry Johnson and freaking Alonzo Mourning got into that fight, and like Jeff Van Gundy was like hanging on Larry Johnson's leg.
It's 25 years ago.
Yeah, a lot of crazy moments, but hopefully we get a lot more crazy ones this year, and hopefully this series ends like the '98, '99, and 2000 playoffs did, with the Knicks eliminating the Heat. Bye bye, Miami.
Oh man.
All right, but in any event, I think we've said what we needed to say. So for John Randall, this is Kurt Cadet for another edition of the Clash of the Champions, and we will see you guys next week. Enjoy the NBA playoffs, enjoy Backlash, and we'll always be here for you guys. God bless. Have a good one.
Peace.